Hello,
Hello.
hello, my amazingly beautiful co-host. This is DC again, half of the duo of shaking up the algorithms, along with my lovely co-host.
Tonice, better known as Shawan, and we are here for another great episode of Shaking Up the Algorithm. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. We've got some amazing, well, an amazing, not some, but one amazing, beautiful guest this evening.
Yeah.
And we got a really, really good conversation. So, I'm glad that you all could be here and rock out with us.
Yes, this is going to be very interesting.
Very.
I don't think we need two of these. Only one. This one is enough. I love her. I love her though, but this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to hear her story, her journey on to being a public speaker. This is going to be really good. I have a lot to questions to ask, as I normally have anyway. So I'm looking forward to the smoke, the entertainment, the seriousness of the conversation. This is going to be good. Do you have her bio up? You can introduce this amazing love lady.
I do. I have everything prepared at this moment. And I wanted to shout out one of our supporters, Tayon. So great. So thankful for you to be here this evening.
Right.
All right. So without further ado, go ahead and, introduce our wonderful guest, who is a seasoned and accomplished real estate agent turned certified life coach and motivational speaker. With a wealth of experience in the real estate industry, she's successfully helped countless clients find their dream homes and navigate the complexities of the market. Driven by her passion for empowering individuals and facilitating personal growth, led her to expand her expertise beyond real estate. Recognizing the profound impact that she could have on people's lives, she obtained her certification as a life coach and embarked on a journey to inspire and motivate others. So, again, without further ado, let me introduce my pass the baton sister. Thank you for the drum roll. Thank you for the drum roll. Let's introduce Carla C.C. Smith. Come on up.
Hi.
Hello, sunshine after the rain. How are you?
Hey, DC. How are you? My homies and my homies girl. How are you?
Well, I'm so glad that you decided to come on the show and that we're having you on this show. I
Yes.
can't wait to hear your journey up until how you became a public speaker in the first place. My first question to you, starting it off, is what led you to want to become a public speaker? What was your motivation? How did you start that off?
I love to talk. So when
Okay.
you love to talk and you feel like you have something to offer someone, you always have something to say, right? I
Right.
always feel like have an opinion or you just want to share your life experiences with someone. That's what drove me to want to be a public speaker.
Okay. So being a public speaker, you love to talk, okay, but loving to talk on the level of being in different invited to different conferences and stages and platforms, that's a whole new different animal. So what made you feel like you can contribute to those type of platforms and talking on different stages and stuff like that?
You know what? That's a great question, DC.
Mhm.
I think that when we see so many of my sisters go through things and it's just like they're in a cycle and they can't get out of a cycle,
Mhm.
and me being where I am, learn my way and learn how to navigate the ways through life, through all the hardships, through all the good and the ugly, right? It led me to want to help my sisters. I see so many of them stuck. And then I'm
Mm.
like, girl, why? Just stop. And it just made me want to just help them to motivate them to a higher being of themselves.
Okay. Now there are a lot of coaches out here, a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
So, what made you? What makes you different? What made you want to change the trajectory of how public speaking is done? What kind of an impact do you want to make being a public speaker? Why do you even care? Like, what's the big deal about being a public speaker?
God, you have some great questions. Gosh, where you find this co-host at? let me tell you my deepest, I guess that my inner soul on why. Because I see so many women like dealing with loss, dealing with a divorce and things like that, and you're having to live your life for other people. I got so tired of seeing that, even with myself, right? I got so tired of seeing that. Now it's time for us to start living for ourselves as Black women. Stop not taking care of yourself because you're taking care of everyone else. Stop complaining because you don't have enough money. Stop borrowing from other people. Just stop. We can all do it together. It's a mindset. And I just wanted to get out and just show people, look, I'm doing it. You can do it too. And I don't want to do it in a preachy type of way. I want to do it in a fun, loving type of way, like a girlfriend. And see, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I feel like coming to you as a girlfriend, not judgmental, just let's be transparent together. Let's be vulnerable together. No matter if we have to cry together, no matter what we have to do together, we can get through everything together as long as we are not judgmental. And I feel like I'm that type of person. I'm just not judgmental.
Okay, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but I kind of want you to answer this question. What separates a good public speaker from a horrible one? Like what separates the two? What makes one more impactful than the other?
Conversations. When you're up on that stage, you have to have a conversation with your audience. It is not you talking to your audience and talking at them, but have a conversation just like you would be having with me. Like if me and Shawan are on the phone together, let's just talk to each other. And I think that's what makes me different. And honestly, it's just no judgment zone at all.
Okay.
Touched on something in your comment when you were speaking of, having candid conversations with your audience. So with that, I feel like it's really important as well to make sure that you display or show a level of transparency, because ultimately you want your audience or your targeted audience to be able to have something to connect with you. So what is like your connecting story, or what story do you feel like connects you with the audience in which you're trying to reach?
For example, I'll just give you one. So for example, if I'm talking to a lot of women that's been wives forever and then went through a separation or a divorce, my experience that I can offer to them, I'm just going to tell them the truth. I did everything for my daughters, my husband. I never even, have you ever been so involved with everyone else? You forget to look at yourself in the mirror and just say, hey, I love you. Or, hey, it's going to be okay. Hey, you can take care of you. What about just taking those walks, doing that exercise for yourself instead of just saying, oh, I got to make breakfast for my husband and my kids. Just don't do that some days. Just put you first. And that's where we don't put ourselves first. And I was that person. When I turned 50, the doctors told me I had high blood pressure. And I'm like, how? It's because of all the stress that I did on trying to be a good wife and a good mother. And a lot of times that's just taking a health toll on you because you're really just not taking care of you. And that's what I went through.
You spoke on transparency. Let me ask you a question. Is there any level of transparency that you will not go to, or that you will not go to? Or do you think all forms of transparency is good to get your point across and for people to trust what you're saying and to invest in what you're talking about?
You know what? I think, well, God, Dave, gosh, but some things I think is just not like a lot of people's business, but I think you can be transparent by telling some things and not getting all into the rough with it, right? So I think you have to be honest no matter what. You have to have that honest conversations, no matter if it makes you feel, embarrassed or whatever, because isn't that what we're here for? Aren't we here so that we can grow from our experiences? Aren't we here so we can help someone else grow from our experience? So I think that, I don't know. I think that if you have to be raw, you have to be raw.
But okay, and I'm glad you said that, because I know for me, that's always been like a taboo area.
Right.
Because it's almost like, I heard this comment and I put it in my book. Confession is good for the soul, but bad for the reputation. So it's almost like sometimes you got to be careful what you say certain stages or certain platforms, because yes, you want to be able to present that transparency and that candidness with your audience, but at the same time, it's like, do I want to tell you everything about me? Like, do you really need to know everything?
Well, I think that's where the discernment comes in, right?
Huh?
I think that's where the discernment comes in, right?
True. And that's true. So, I mean, for you, it's I don't want to say that you don't use discernment, but I'm saying, like, when do you know what's too much and what's enough?
Your audience.
I was just thinking about it. You got to know your audience.
Yeah, if you know your audience, like if you're talking to like young women, like, you know, girls that may have gotten pregnant early and guys are just like treating them ugly, you know which level of transparency that you can come, because they may not be able to handle other certain things that you may have. So I just think if we know our audience, and then some of the church ladies, you know how judgmental they are. You know, they want to like hit you over the head with a Bible. You can't get raw with them because they're not open-minded, right? So that's how I think.
You know, they say one of the biggest fears is public speaking. So where did you adopt that confidence from?
I don't know. I told Shawan, I talked to her maybe a couple of weeks before we went to pass the baton. I was like, I'm just not nervous. I don't know why. Because listen to this. What can anybody do to me? If I cannot walk into a room and be myself and tell the truth and tell my story, what am I afraid of? If I can't do it, then either you accept me or you don't. And I'm okay with either one, because I'm not put on this earth to please you. I'm only put on this earth to please me. That's what I'm gonna do. So either you like me a lot. I know I'm a lot, right? But I know that I'm charming.
She honest, y'all. She honest.
So I you only got 11 more steps to go and you good. 11 more steps. but okay, you're right. Honesty, I love that about you. Right off. When I first heard you on the phone, I was like, I love the fact that she ain't no punk in the conversation. I love that. You know what I'm saying? That speaks volumes, especially to me and to anybody. Anytime you can get my respect like that, to be able to say what you want to say and you own it, I can't do nothing but respect that.
Thank you. Period.
This is the part where I need a drink right here. This is the drinking session. But now another thing is I want to get what advice would you have to young people that are afraid to speak but they need to be heard?
You know what? That's very difficult, and you have to learn to believe in who you are. And when you speak, you have to have that confidence so that you can, rock the stage, I guess. So I'll say this if I'm telling my granddaughter, right? I'm speaking to my 10-year-old granddaughter because I would love for her to be a public speaker, right? Because she's so witty. I would tell her every day, you need to look in the mirror and you have something to offer to other people. Stop being afraid to give your talent. God gave you this for a reason. And if you are just not going to use your God-given talent, what are you on this earth for? Walk in your life. Listen, we're not here to do what we're supposed to do. And what's the first thing that we're supposed to do? Love each other, right? And if we truly love each other, we're going to tell each other the truth, no matter what. We can't be worried about, DC not going to like me. Domise is not going to like me. Okay, don't like me, but at least I told you the truth. I want to hear the truth. And Domise, no, I am about that. Tell me the truth. I don't care what. Don't lie to me. Because if you lie to me, now I'm going to have a sour taste in my mouth because I didn't ask you for that lie.
Right.
Okay.
So don't give it to me.
So do you think that there's no lie that's justified?
Oh my God, that's deep.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Look, I don't want anybody to judge me on this, right? How about having just some, ambiguities? I can't even talk. How about just having some ambiguities with it, right? where it's just like you tell something, but you don't tell it all because you
You
don't.
know what? You know what? See, you're skating around that question. Let me ask it again. So let me ask you. So
I don't want people to judge me on that. Let me tell you this. I do think that some mistruths are okay. I do.
so you have a gray area somewhere.
Yeah, I do. I don't see
Okay.
everything in black and white. I'm open-minded. That's just like,
Okay.
okay, for example, if I get pregnant by this man, right? And he's a
Okay.
deadbeat, right? And
Okay.
I don't want and I've already married this other guy that's a good father for my child, right? If he a deadbeat, he under the bridge, what do I want to tell my child that's your daddy? No.
Now, I don't necessarily agree with
No, I
that.
ain't doing that. Let him stay under the bridge.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I'm sorry. That's
Only
who I am. Okay.
only because there could be some component or something that is needed to be learned about that child's real father.
Well,
that
in
need to know.
In that light, you're correct. In that light, what health reasons and things like that, you're correct. Maybe that's a bad example. But let me just finish out that bad example, okay? So say that, I don't know, maybe he did some bad things in his days or something. I don't know. But I just think that it's just better to just leave my child alone and let her go ahead and progress in her life or his life, and just leave him where he is. When he wants to come back, if he wants to come back, then I can explain. Like, yeah, babe, that's your dad, but I just didn't want you to be around that because I thought it was going to taint your mindset. Something like that. That's where I think it's kind of okay not to say it, not to tell them until they find out. And then when they find out, you can tell them the truth. So I guess that's not a lie.
I got a question. I'm going to throw a wrench in this. I got a question.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
How much do you value forgiveness?
You know
I told you I was going to throw a wrench. You wasn't ready for that, was you?
Let me tell you something.
I wasn't ready for that.
Go ahead.
If you are sincere with your apology to me, I can take your forgiveness and I can sail on in the sunset, right?
Okay.
But if you're one of those people that say, just get over it. Hell no. Hell no. There's no forgiveness. I'm just not rocking with you no more.
I understand what you mean, but even though you got to do it anyway, but I understand what you mean. I understand your pain with that because I've had that happen. So I understand. Definitely understand. The reason I asked that question is because that mindset and that prison of being held on to not being able to forgive can dilute your effectiveness on speaking and getting your point across. You know, because you said people want to trust who you are, because if you're speaking, matter of fact, I'll say it like this: I'll throw myself in the fire. When I first heard you on the phone, what made me gravitate to you is because you was extremely transparent. Yeah. I didn't have to dig. You exposed it. So that allowed me to trust you right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? But if it's something about you that I heard about, and which I don't like hearing stuff from other people, I like finding out for myself. Right. But let's say it's somebody that let's say Shawan told me something about you, and I trust Shawan. I don't know you. Right. And she said something about you, and I'm like, okay. So now I'm looking at you differently off the bat. You know what I'm saying? Right. And my thing is, I didn't even confront you on even caring about forgiving if you said it, if you meant it or not, or if you said something that wasn't true or not. But I trust Shawan. So my thing is, by me trusting Shawan and not even knowing the story from you, that can dilute our relationship. It can mess up how we are. So that's my point in saying that. But I feel that, off rip, you are a very boisterous person, very outspoken. You're very confident in knowing who you are. I don't like using the word cocky, because if you love yourself, it'll come off as cocky. Right. I love that about you off rip. So right Right there, you got my attention, you know, from the word go. Now, it's certain things that I've heard you say that was kind of interesting. That was
Tell
strange.
me. Tell me.
But for the most part, I will give you a thumbs up for as far as me just knowing you off rip. First
Well,
conversation.
thank you.
So I get that.
Okay, that's humbling to me. I like that.
Now, with great power comes great responsibility. You know.
Oh my God, I know. I know. And I'm glad you brought that up, right? And that if someone says something about me to you and you really don't know me, it could
Right.
really make me feel bad, right? So this is why I try to say, and Shimon, I think I told you this before. I don't like talking about people. I just don't like doing that. That's just not who I am.
Mhm.
So I don't like for someone to be talking about me and I don't know they're talking about me, because I feel like, yeah, you have a loyalty to Shawan, but wouldn't you want to know and ask me like, hey, I heard this about you, I heard that about you, instead of you just going on with this rumor or going on with this lie.
Now hold on, CC. Let's rewind the tape.
Let's rewind.
You said a few minutes ago that if you walk in a room, you don't care what people think about you. So which one?
No, I didn't. Only on that way. If they like what I'm giving, they like me or they don't. I'm just going to tell you no matter what. But when it comes to my personal being, when you say it comes great responsibility, that part I'm not ready for. People lying on you, people making up stuff about you. I'm not ready for that, because my mouth can get really foul. You say something about me, I'm coming for you. I'm going to get it straight.
So basically, the gloves come off, and it's no longer CC, the public speaker, and the life coach is CC, the street girl.
All day long. You're gonna get these hands. You're gonna get these hands. Okay. No, that's one thing that God is still working on me with, guys. I'm gonna tell you this. I am not ready for the he say, she say, the naysay, and all that mess. And I know that you have to put on tough skin, but I don't care what you say about me on stage, because look, you don't know me. But if you think you know me, come to me as my sister and be honest and say, hey, I heard this. Is this true? Don't be a coward and run around spreading rumors.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a line that I said on this show before, and I've said to Shawan before. It's an old school term my grandmother used to say. Baby, it's not what you called, it's what you answer to. So my thing is, if they're calling you whatever, why would you care?
You know, I don't care if they call me the B word. You know, I'll walk in that. You know what I'm saying? But don't lie on me. Don't lie on me. That's all I'm saying.
Wait. Calling you a B word is lying on you if that ain't what you are, right?
Well, you know what? I could turn it on and turn it off. You want me to act like one? I can show you how to do that real well.
I see.
If you want me to act like a sweet girl, I can show you that all day too.
Hold on. To all my audience, my listeners, I want to say this sincerely. See, it's my fault. I'm not praying hard enough. That's my fault. I just had to do a commercial break real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
But I continue program. But back to public speaking. Public speaking is a very exhilarating thing. But you really got to. It's just something that you just. I'll give you an example. When I was in Miami and I got into the poetry community and doing poetry a lot, you know, I had to get over that fear of being on stages and performing and doing what I love.
Yeah.
But I think when you love something, the fear leaves. You know what I'm saying? When you really
David.
When you really love something, you don't have no fear. You don't compromise what you're doing off an opinion of somebody else. Like you zoned out. Like you have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
When you're writing, when you're in your book, you're in your zone. You know, when you public speak, you're in your zone. When you're doing something you love, you don't, it's like you bulletproof to me. You know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
Yeah. So what about you say now you're a life coach, you're a public speaker, like any public speaking events you got coming up in the near future?
Well, I just had one. I think I told Shawan, I just had one on that Saturday when I came back from Pass the Baton.
Okay.
And that one turned out really well. It was just talking to women. And then now I've been offered, put your fingers together, to do a TED Talk. Yeah.
Okay. TED Talk.
That's big time. That's big time.
That's a good look.
So that's next year, June, when it comes to El Paso. So I'll be doing that.
So do you have a subject matter, or do they suggest one for you, or how does that work?
They suggested several ones for me. So I'm just trying to develop, just kind of pray about which one I really want to do. But once again, it's talking to women and it's motivating women in the corporate sector of the world.
Okay.
When you talk to women, what is the biggest thing they get out of listening to you as a life coach, as a speaker? Like, what do women come to say? I needed to hear that.
You know, one told me not too long ago, it's like, every time I talk to you, you motivate me. You just motivate me to want to be better. And so if I can motivate them to want to be better than where they are today, I think I am doing my job. I am impacting their life somewhere. You know, okay, so let me give you an example. I have a friend that's been working at a retail store for about 20 years now, right? And I used to always say to her, you're so smart. You're so smart. Why don't you do something a little different? Why don't you join me in real estate? You sell. Why don't you do that in real estate? So I guess about 2 months ago, she came to me and she said, you know what? I have just been thinking about it and praying about it. You're right. If I want my kids to have a better life, if I want them to have something worth anything, just being in this world, because the odds is already against them.
Right.
I'm going to need to stretch my faith and get out here and ask for help. And would you help me to become a real estate agent? I was like, girl, that's right up my alley. If I can show you how to make money, I'm going to show you how to make money, because that's all I know how to do. You know?
Interesting. Okay. You said that when I asked you about, you know, where did it start, you know, your passion becoming a public speaker, you just said it was in you. It had to have been something that happened that made you say, give you the confidence to do it. Like, do you think was it something that happened in your life that said, hey, I can do this, I want to do this? Like, so what triggered you to want to really become a public speaker and doing what you're doing? Like, what was the main thing?
You know what? That's a very, very hard question. I've never really thought about it, but I can tell you one instance that maybe could have done it.
Okay.
Being a team leader as a realtor, by being a team leader, you motivate them, right? You have to teach them. And if you have that, I don't know, the teaching capacity where you can teach somebody for them to learn, I think it made me feel like, oh, I can go do this on stage. I can go and do this. And I have to tell you, I had an assistant, Laura Morales, right? And she's the one that got me on Clubhouse, because I used to say, why do you listen to that garbage? Why do you listen to that garbage all the time, right? So she was like, just do it, just do it. So I went on and I looked at it, and then I was like, God, you know, I want to speak on stages. I want to be a public speaker. Maybe this is it, because you have to unmute your mic and you can't be scared. And I just was never afraid of unmuting my mic, because I always felt like I had something to say. And I think those are the things that propel me to say, hey, this is my calling. This is my time to really get up. And then just seeing women go through what I've been through. Just seeing them, you know, being a wife, a mother for, 27, 30 years, doing the stuff that you do for your kids. Come on, it's time to speak up. Are we really put on this earth to live like our grandparents lived? To do this, to live hard. I'm trying to live easy.
Okay.
And if I can tell somebody how to do that, or show someone how to do that, and do it with love, if you really love this, let's do it. Let's go out here and make the world a better place. And that's just how I feel. I think that's what kind of propelled me really into it.
If you ever had a moment where you would go to somewhere and nobody was feeling you, would you stop?
No. Because something is going to click. Because once again, I told you I'm a charmer. You might not like everything I have to say, but you're gonna like something. You know, you don't like
Okay.
something I have to say. That's all I got to say.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. I can respect that.
Well, I have a question, and it kind of segues a little bit in what DC already asked you.
Uh-huh.
But with so many other, female motivational speakers out here, you've got Sonia Stribling, you've got Lisa Nichols. These are like now top tier speakers. Even
Yeah.
if you want to look at Iyanla Van Zant, she
Mhm.
started off and now she's plateaued into something else.
Mhm.
My thing is, what is it, or what's the CC factor,
Okay.
that you feel is going to get you to that level and above?
Hmm.
And then on top of that,
Oh, that's a good question.
and then on top of that, like, where do you even see the trajectory of your speaking career going?
Mhm.
Okay, so first of all, Lisa Nichols, Sonia Stribling, and Iyanla Van Zant is not CC. Not
Okay,
right. I'll never see them rocking the stage like me. Okay. I never see them act like me. I never see them do what I do. They don't even dress the way I dress. We all different.
Right.
My swag is my swag.
it is.
To be honest with you, let me just answer it like this. They are like my trailblazers. They are more like a mentor to me, right? I watch what they do, and only thing I want to do is emulate it and make it better. That's all. I'm not trying to change the wheel. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to change nothing. I want to follow their footprints and then put my CC swag on it. That's all I want to do because
Mm.
I truly love what they do. I'm going to give homage to all of them because they are great women.
So, in other words, as David Crouch would say, you want to not reinvent the wheel, but put rims on it.
Some big ones, baby. Some big ones with some neon lights, okay? That's all I want to do. And I want to do it with poise because one thing about Iyanla Van Zant, right? Iyanla Van Zant just tells the truth. Either you like her or not. She gives it to you rough, rugged, and raw.
Yeah.
And that's the type of girl I am, right? I want to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, but I want to give it to you on a softer scale than what she gives it to you. So don't think I study these women all the time. So I'm learning from them, and I'm just trying to make it better. That's all I'm doing. And I know I can be better. Oh, and my trajectory, right?
Okay.
I know. It's kind of like what Robin say, right? If you call me to go speak at the White House, I'm ready. I'm your girl. Just give me 30 minutes or give me time to catch my flight and I'm there, right? Because I'm going to be okay. I see myself as just motivating women that are scared and embarrassed to come out of their shells. Whereas we can sit up around and say, okay, well, the Iyanas and the Sonia and them, they're talking about people about money. They're talking people how to elevate their life to a different level as far as finances. I want somebody to level up with their mindset. I want somebody to level up with some confidence. Stop sitting in the back and act like you don't have nothing to say. You have something to say. When that guy come home after you done took care of the kids all day, when he come home and say, "Where my dinner?" Well, I was going to ask you that same question. If you were going to get off from your job and come make dinner, because I'm still doing my job as a mother. So I don't have time to make us dinner right now, but I'll get to it. So if you want to help me out, help me out. Stop being that timid woman, say, oh, like Edith Bunker. Oh, let me get to it. Nah, it ain't that type of party no more. This is 2023. We are partners. We're working together to achieve one goal. And if we can't do that, it's not going to be a one-sided deal here. It's just going to be what it is. No unilaterally at all.
What is your hardest lesson you've learned being a public speaker? What is the hardest thing you've ever encountered doing what you do and doing that?
Can I be honest with you? I
would hope so. I
haven't had anything where it's hard. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it's going to come and I'm going to be prepared for it. But I haven't had any difficulties, and I don't know how I would handle it, but I would handle it with poise. I know that I would do that. So what was yours? What did you experience when you were on stage as poetry? What did you, as a poet, what did you experience?
Well, a lot of my poems that I do a lot of poems regarding my life and my struggles and my triumphs. I had a poet after when I got off stage said I needed to hear that, kind of like what you that they told you. I need to hear that. And my mom passed last week, and I know why God brought me here to hear you. That responsibility of that was heavy, but it was empowering at the same time. So it made me realize that um, in my obedience, I have to do what God called me to do to be at a certain spot at the right time, because otherwise they would have never heard that. So
Absolutely.
my thing is that I feel like everything happens for a reason, and everything is a lot of God's timing. And for you not to do what He called you to do and do it when He tell you to do, to me, is selfish. So it made me realize that I can't adopt the spirit of being selfish.
Absolutely.
So I think that was, but it's hard because it's a lot of responsibility when people feed off of what you do. You know what I'm saying? And then when nobody feeds into you, and people, people withdraw more than they deposit, it makes it very challenging.
Oh, I
So
love that. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that.
so it's like at some point, the more and more you progress is going to happen, because if people see you and they love what you do now, you're going to have those tough moments. And you're going to have to withstand those tough moments. It's not an easy thing to do. Even with me and Shawan doing shaking up the algorithm, the fact that we were obedient to do this, we done been through hell a lot. A lot. We laugh and we deal with it with grace, but being obedient is a responsibility. Is a heavy load, because the enemy don't want you to do it. He
To
don't want you to be a
succeed.
part.
Absolutely.
Right. He
Absolutely.
don't want you to do what God called you to do. So my thing is the fact that we keep going, and I think we motivate each other. That iron sharpens iron type thing with us. So it allows us to be held accountable, make the other person accountable for being in the position that we're in right now. And I'm thankful for it. I meet people like you, and it's an amazing journey. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be an amazing journey for you. Like that TED Talk thing, that you've been chosen to do, that's huge. That's a good look.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you being in a situation like that, you're gonna have those people look at you like, okay, she did that. How did she do it? They're gonna pour from. They're gonna pour from you, and you gotta have enough in that tank to withstand the pour. That's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's what being around positive influences are. You
Facts.
can't really be around any negativity. And if
Facts.
it is negativity, you're going to have to like just evict yourself from that, because all it's
Correct.
going to do is be a tumor and turn into a cancer eventually if you don't remove yourself. I
That's
totally
facts.
agree with you.
That is facts. That's facts. And I think being around positive people that are going the same direction you're going.
Absolutely.
like, like if you ain't going the same direction I'm going, you ain't going this way. I can't. I
And,
don't even get it.
and another thing too, it's like just helping one person out, just giving them words of wisdom. For example, Shawan moving to Texas, right? I'm super, super excited about her moving to Texas.
Right.
It's because I think of so much that she and I can do on a positive level. She said, okay, by the time I get there, I'm gonna have 3 books. So guess what it's doing to me? Okay, I'm gonna have my 3 books too, Shawan. So
Mm.
we're gonna go on our book tours together. You know what I'm
That
saying?
that
It's
iron
hyping each other
that
up.
iron sharpening that iron. That
Yeah,
iron sharpens iron. Yeah.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
don't want to be around anybody that's jealous of your achievements, because that's going to just, oh my God.
Correct. Uh, Everything you just said, Mary had that conversation a million times about,
Yeah.
about holding each other accountable and pushing each other. Hey, what wins you got today? What wins you got today, Craft? What wins you got? Like what you do. I always joke around, but what you doing with your life today? What you doing with your life?
I
You know
love
what I'm saying? So my thing is, I need to know that. And another thing about Shawan that I trip off of, and sometimes I remind her, you know what I'm saying? You survive. You're a cancer survivor.
Yes.
That
Yes.
right there is God ain't playing with you. There is a level of accountability for survival.
You have something to do. That's why I'm
Right.
telling you guys, we owe it to each other to tell each other the truth.
Facts.
No matter what it is, tell each
That's
other
right.
the truth so we can grow together. We
Yes,
have
sir.
to make this world a better place. We have
Yes,
to.
sir.
And if we don't, look at your charge. Shawan, you have a charge that is out of this world. So you wasn't taken out with that. So now
Right.
you owe us something.
Right.
You know?
Right. And another thing, Cece, with what you just said, you have to be able to handle that truth.
That's true.
If you love us and you trust us or whatever, whoever it is in your circle, you have to be able to take that, because with me, I'm not gonna say nothing to nobody I'm not gonna hurt nobody that I love. Period. I'm not gonna hurt
Absolutely.
nobody that I don't love. But if I love you, I'm really not gonna do it. Anything that I say regarding to you is gonna be in love.
Right, right.
I'm gonna have love sprinkled all over it before I even say it. So my thing is, I feel that um, being around the right people and connecting with the, other people, and it's gonna motivate you to keep going and to do everything that God called you to do. It's for real, like seriously. And even in our lives, like me and her have had a lot of wins. We've had a lot of losses. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well,
and
we're gonna have to talk about these losses so I can know what to look forward
well,
to.
well, 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 see, here's the thing about the losses. Here's the thing about the losses. You need the losses to understand and to
Yeah.
respect the wins.
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
The losses you learn in the losses. I learned so much in them losses. You know what I'm saying? So it has made me realize, okay, I can't do it that way. I got to do it this way, or I got to be more patient. You know, I fasted a few weeks ago, and I told Shawan this. I said, what the Holy Spirit told me is, when you see a little bit, you can't do a lot of seeing a little bit happen. You
Mhm.
gotta let it. You gotta let it. You know, let it evolve. You gotta let it. You gotta see the whole picture first. So
Uh-huh.
my thing is, I've learned a lot in the losses, and I'm very impatient. The way my Capricorn set up, I gotta have it going. I gotta keep it moving. I ain't got time to be playing with you,
I'm
your
telling
mama, your
you.
cousin. I ain't got time for your raggedy
Telling
ass
you.
kids. I'm trying to make it happen. So, and I'm not gonna allow anybody to slow down my momentum and making that happen.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
why
I had to take my roller skates out of retirement dealing with him. I really did. Just so I could keep up. I had to take him out of retirement, you know.
I love
Right.
it.
Right. But what was you gonna say, CC? You're gonna say something.
No, I totally agree with you because you and I are polar opposites because I'm a Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I am not going to be around someone that's going to dim my light. I can't work like that. I can't
Right.
work around that kind of energy.
Right.
Like, no, let me get from around this. Let
Yeah, I
me
ain't got
keep.
time.
So,
I ain't
and impatient, you talking about impatient? I want it like the microwave. I want it now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah. I understand. Trust me, I
Oh
understand.
my gosh.
But I think your character is built in the patience. You know, so it's a lot that you need to get and attain. But see, what a lot of people do, they be patient and wait and don't work in the waiting.
Mhm.
You have to develop in the waiting. You have to see why God is allowing stuff to happen slowly, and letting it, because now when you do things slowly, you can see from 5 different perspectives when it happens slow. When it happened like that, you missing something. You missed about 4, 5 steps because it's like that. But when
Mhm.
it happens slow, you watch everything. What's that movie with Denzel that's coming out? What's that movie that come out? The Equalizer. Remember when he get ready to kill people? How everything's in slow motion before he do it. Like he
Uh-huh.
see this guy, he see what this guy go. You can see everything from a whole new different perspective in slow motion. When it happened, you ain't got time to react. It's just bam, 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 and that's how I look at life. Like, okay, if it's happening the way it's happening, it's certain things I got to see that I don't miss in order to go forward.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
Sweet.
Yep. I think we had a great conversation.
You're so silly. I do have something I want to ask though, because you said throughout the show that you want to, or women is like your target audience, right? But what in particular? I mean, because if you just say women, that's a broad, you know, range of conversation. What is like your targeted or your, uh, your speaking points that you want to be able to have when you get up on a stage? What is it again that you really want to be able to convey to the women that you're speaking to? I mean, because again, it could go, as far as, hey, well, I want to empower you or I want to motivate you, but how do you want to do that? What are some of the tactics that you've already come up with that will help to facilitate that goal for you?
So it's just not, that's a great question too, Shawan. It's just not for women, it's for men too, because I'm more around the loss stage, no matter if it's a loss on a divorce or it's a death, or say you divorce your kids. It's for men and women, but I speak on women more because I'm a woman and I've experienced those things. I'm not a man, so I haven't experienced the loss that a man has to experience, but I can kind of emphasize, I can kind of like think about, well, this could have made him feel this way or that way, right? So I can kind of like feel that same feeling, but my whole thing, I can tell you from a woman's perspective how if we are not doing these things for our lives, our health is going to suffer, finances can suffer. It's just all we're not living a whole healthy life. So those are the points that I want to get out to women. We are always doing stuff for someone. Our cup is never full. So if our cup is never full, how do we have to? We can't pour back in ourselves. Yolanda Adams had a song, "Encourage Yourself." How can I encourage myself when I'm giving it all away? How can I tell you how to encourage yourself if you are giving everything away? So what I have to try to tell somebody is, it may sound selfish, but you have to start living selfishly. And the selfish thing is one thing that we have never been taught. Take care of you first. And then whatever you have, that excess that you have, now you can give it away to someone else. So those are my tactics and those are my topics that I want to let people know. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to believe in a higher power. It's okay to believe in God. It's okay to do all of those things, but just do it on your level. Don't do it because I say to do it, or me say to do it, or DC say to do it. Do it for yourself and watch how your life is going to be enriched. That's the points I want to make.
I love what she said, but it's one thing I want to mention from what she said, and I think that we need to incorporate Shawan, and we've talked about this before, and I think this is why I'm glad that we have the dynamic of it being a man and a woman on the show. I think it needs to be more groups of men and women interaction.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because you have all these women empowerment groups, which is good. But my thing is, what is that doing with the family? It's just making you stronger. It ain't making us. It ain't making us stronger with you. It's just making you stronger. It's just making you a leader and making us being led. And we
better shut up. That's good.
So my thing is,
that's
so
good.
my thing is, I think you put the demographic together. You learn from it. You learn from each other. You get an understanding of each other. You find a new respect of each other. Because whenever I talk to Shawan or even you right now, I understand you from a different perspective. Right. I don't say, well, you know what? That's women shit. I ain't got time for that. And another thing is, I have a daughter, so I have an advantage. So I've watched my daughter develop, and I understand women by watching my daughter grow up.
Right.
and seeing her mannerisms and seeing how she holds me accountable and don't
Right.
say you ain't gonna do it when you ain't gonna do it and have some integrity. I've learned from my 30-year-old daughter more than I've learned from grown ass women.
I love that.
So my thing is that it needs to be more of this interaction.
Cohesive.
That would stop men and women from tearing each other down. That would incorporate men and women more, respecting each other more, and then you can kind of put each other in each other's shoes. A lot of men that don't hear this ain't gonna respect that. You tend to mess up something you don't understand. So my thing is, if men understood you better from this perspective and this platform, I guarantee you the narrative would change.
I love it. That's a mic drop. I'm dropping my mascara. Okay. Mic drop. That is so. I'm glad you said that, because how can we strengthen the Black home if we are not talking together? If I'm not telling my brothers, hey, you make me feel like this when you do this and that. How would he know that I feel like that if I am not?
And what you're doing is you expecting us to assume.
Right.
You expecting us to think, oh, I should know that that's how you feel. No. If you ain't giving it to me like this right here, I don't care about what you feel. You ain't watch this. You ain't trusting me enough to tell me to understand. So my thing is,
makeup brush drop.
so let the guard down and trust me enough to understand you.
Right, but let me ask you this, okay? Are you guys ready to hear the naked truth?
Okay, stop. I got an answer for that.
Okay.
We are in a time where there is a sense of urgency. Look at the world now.
Yeah.
Ain't no. Do you got no, nigga? You need to say it, cause how's it gonna change if it ain't being said?
That's true.
You as bold as you enough to be on this show and speak how you feel. That's the same energy that needs to be done in the men and women group.
I agree. So I just think that if men are ready to grow and ready to hear from the women on
no, stop. I'm a man, so I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you where you're messing up. Let me tell you where you're messing up.
Okay.
My thing is, the minute you say that, a man automatically is gonna be on the defenses because you're questioning who I am as a man and what I'm ready for. My mama dead. I don't need no another mama. I need a partner. I need somebody.
Yeah.
I need somebody that I can build with, not being told and reprimanded if I'm ready or not. I have to be ready. Shit, look at this shit. Look at how it is now.
I totally agree.
I should have a choice. We need to change the demographic. Right, it is a sense of urgency.
Well, let's get the group popping now because I'm ready for it tomorrow. Because there is so many young Black brothers out here that the moms are not they're just letting them do whatever they want to do. No, nigga, if you gonna live in my house, you getting out of my house at 17, and you gonna join the army if you don't want to do something right for yourself.
Right.
And if you do not want to look, if I find out you cheating on these young girls out here, you gonna have a problem with me. Teach your son how it feels that you not to cheat on you, because guess what? You've been cheated on. You know how it feels. Let your son go and do that.
In the Bible, and I'm gonna use a scripture behind it. And the Bible says, "Train up a child the way they should go, so they would not depart from it." Now, it didn't say train up a child the way you want them to learn. The way they should go. So my thing is, the way they should go may not be in your mindset of thinking. I'll give you an example. My grandmother raised me and my brother. She didn't raise us as how a woman, how we need to be women, and how we need to have that perspective. She said, "Hey, you a man, you treat your woman like a queen.
You better talk."
That's how she taught us. Train up a child the way they should go, so they will not depart from it. That's how it should go. So when you use that approach, because it's all in your approach. When you use that approach, you come to a man and say, baby, look, I want us to get along. I want to learn from you, and I want you to learn from me. I'm going to be vulnerable to you because I don't want you to have no more surprises. Oh, we getting the grown folk part of the conversation. I don't want you to have no more surprises. So my thing is, when you coming that way, that's going to make me turn my wall down.
I love that. Yeah.
And say, okay, well, shit, let's do this. Let's build it. Let's do this
together. You're feeding to his ego. You're feeding into his ego because that's all I think that's all men want to hear. Like, babe, look, this is happening. Can we just do this together? Let's just walk hand in hand.
You'd be amazed how much a calm tone does to a man's spirit. Rather than you like, nah, nigga, did it. You do that, he automatically got his defenses up. You calm and you talking sensibly and you talking to his spirit rather than to that nigga.
Yeah.
A whole new different answer.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. So, but you know what? But another thing, I'm gonna say this. Right. A man sets the stage in a relationship. A man does that. If he comes in and he's all crazy and rah-rah, whatever, a woman is not going to want to subject herself to go and talk to him and say, hey, DC, let's talk about it. No, this nigga already coming home rah-rah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you where that's messed up. Because you have a lot of women raising boys by themselves.
That's true.
So my thing is, how the hell you gonna get that? So my thing is, don't expect that if the nigga ain't there. Because he ain't. It takes two parents to create balance.
It does.
One of them gone, you're eliminating the balance. It just is what it is.
That's true.
You can sit up and say, well, I'm gonna be the mama and the daddy. We'll see how that work out for you.
And you don't need to be saying you the mom and the daddy.
I'm just saying it's just not. It's just even if he has a male figure in his life, it'll make a big difference.
I agree with you.
I'm saying so. My thing is that you're trying to get blood from a turnip, expecting men to come out when ain't enough men taught them how to be men to come out.
Well, you know what? I just think, let me tell you.
Just saying.
My mom and dad got a divorce when I was 5 and my brother was 7, right?
Right.
Yeah, even though my mom remarried to my stepdad, my brother still had that innate talent in him. I just want to say talent, or just want to do something. My brother used to ride his bicycle to work at a grocery store. My brother used to do, and there was really no male figure in our home to just tell him that. Yeah, we had uncles and things of that sort, but my brother had it in him where he knew that he was basically like the man of the house. My brother worked so much, y'all, at this grocery store. He was able to take myself, my little sister, and my brother to Six Flags on his grocery store job. So that's why I'm saying that I think it has to be in you. Nobody shouldn't beat it in you and say, hey, you need to be a protector or the provider.
I agree.
If that should already be in a man. And a woman should not have to beg a man to do the things he's supposed to do.
Man, now you gotta understand, you're speaking from two different times.
That's true.
Our time compared to this shit now is trash.
Oh, it's trash. Yeah.
Well, like me, what you saying? That's my era. That's where I'm raised up in. This shit now is trash.
It is.
These kids ain't held accountable. They ain't made to work. These niggas look at you crazy if you tell them they gotta catch the bus. They gotta Uber and shit. Uber, nigga, what? Nigga, we walking to school. Ain't no Uber.
Right, absolutely.
So my thing is, these kids have got extremely comfortable and privileged. So my thing is, so their whole way of thinking about relationships, if that's trash, how do you think the relationship's gonna be?
Absolutely. And I think the mamas are thinking, one young lady said it, the mamas are acting like they the girlfriends. The mamas acting, and how can
maybe some of them are. Some of them are. Like you do have, but you always. I mean, my thing is, I'm not saying every woman that raises a son is just toe up the fuck.
I get what you're saying.
Right. But for the most part nowadays, You know what I'm saying? A lot of mothers don't push their sons to be men. A man ain't gonna be a man just innately, because it's almost like saying a lion is just gonna be a lion if it don't have something to show it how to be a lion.
Right.
Now it has its natural instincts of a lion,
Mhm.
but to feed and to kill, that instinct got to be taught.
That's
So
true.
my thing is, with that being said, a lot of the men, a lot of boys aren't pushed. Like it's certain things. I'm gonna just tell you business just a little bit, Shawan. It's certain things. I love her interaction with her son. I love her interaction with her son because she holds her son accountable. Nigga, you ain't gonna quit. You ain't gonna do this. You need to get your ass up and finish what you started. I mean, I respect that. Most women be like, "Oh, okay, son. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. It's okay." And you expect that nigga to be a man.
Yeah, I expect him to be somebody's husband one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my point. So
Shawan, okay, Shawan. Let me tell you. I tell my daughters all the time, if I had a son, he'd be busting the chest all the time. My daughter, when she was 5 years old, my daughter she got a job. She was out there. She had plenty of jobs. She was doing everything, right? She knows how to save $1, right? If I had a son and he didn't go to work at 3, it would be a problem. He would have to be working at 3.
Not at 3. Not at 3.
Nah, nigga, you're not coming up in here pointing my refrigerator.
Oh my God.
You got these boys playing video games and scratching their nuts and eating potato chips. I'm just saying. But like I said, you create a platform where men and women can understand each other. Because I mean, I don't assume that you're gonna understand a David or a man. I don't assume that. And it's some things that is said that lets me know, y'all really don't know us. Y'all just know us niggas from the surface.
Well, okay,
but
we need
to know us in here and how we operate and how we think and how all of that, it's a whole new different animal. You can't assume that. It's different. It's different.
I mean, I just to kind of chime in, I feel like even with that, it takes a certain maturity level for a woman to be able to acknowledge that. Because, I mean, I can look back on some of the experiences I've had with different gentlemen in my life, and I was that rah-rah person in the beginning. I was nice and soft and meek and mild, but I didn't know how to process having a healthy conversation. So it was quick for me to just you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't able to really differentiate, you know what I mean? And now that I'm older and I'm a little more settled, I'm a whole lot more settled than I was, I have a different perspective when I talk to people. Even how, and it's funny, look, it's funny because David will always say, you just know how to handle me. And I'm telling you, I wasn't always that way. You know what I mean? It took me having to learn and really take the time to understand somebody else's perspective. And then I realized, we really don't think the same. Like, I could talk to you, CC, and we have a conversation and you get me. You know what I'm saying? Immediately. I could beat around the bush with it, but you know exactly what I'm saying. I had the same conversation with David, and he's just like, what?
What?
And
then you have a word to be like, are you slow? Are you stupid? No.
Exactly.
That's not how I reason. That's the
thing. And that's the thing. Sometimes I'll be sitting there on the other end like, damn, nigga, like I done said this one time.
Why don't you know? Why is a man?
Go ahead.
But I realize now that men and women really don't process and think the same.
Period.
You know what I mean? So it's like the same conversation I would have with you, I gotta switch that whole conversation up if I tell it to him. Because it's almost like I gotta break it down piece by piece, inch by inch.
I don't do assuming. What was you gonna say, CC? I don't practice in assuming.
I don't like assumptions either. I tell everybody I wouldn't put on this earth to read your mind.
Right. You got to break it down for me. But go ahead. What was you gonna say, CC?
As a male perspective, right? You say you have to have a different type of reasoning. What is the reasoning that a woman needs to have to come to you to say something to you. Now, I'm not talking about the nice Shawan, the way she speaks to your soul, but what are you thinking in your mind when she comes to you and she brings something to you? What are you thinking? What are you processing?
What do you mean as far as like what?
Like if she comes and say, you know what, I don't like how you hung the TV up on the wall, right? I think it should have been there. And, you know, she's kind of like indecisive about it. Right. And you are not the one that you're, like you said, you're impatient.
Right.
Where's your process when it comes?
Now I'm a lot better at that now. What you just said, but I'm a lot better than that now. Because my thing is, you gotta understand, I know we think differently. Now, if you constantly doing it and you nagging and you doing it all day, now it's gonna be a problem. But if you're saying, look, I don't like how you, okay, well, honey, how would you like for me to do it? How would you like me to do it?
So you would say that. You would say
I would say that.
Okay,
I would say
then
that.
that's good. Okay,
I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck you talking about, nigga? I'm gonna get the game. I ain't gonna do that. Hey, because your funky ass interrupted me, nigga. How you want me to put it up there? You stank it out.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm done. I'm done.
Oh my God.
I think that what you brought up, the honest God's truth, it has to be a conversation with men and women.
Facts.
So that we can get to know where we are as just a couples together, so that we can kind of be on the same, you know, page at least.
It will make a big difference. It will make a big difference. Make a big difference. Because my thing is, and my thing is, I'm not, you know, I don't believe in disrespecting women. I'm not gonna, you know, and just go off and call you stupid and stuff. We just think differently. And I mean, I have a daughter, so my approach already is different because I was raised to respect women. I've never, for me to call a woman out her name, she ever had to take me to a cold red level. You know what I'm saying? I don't just automatically just go off on women just because I can.
What's your cold red level?
Well, I can speak on one. My the second ex-wife that I married, she followed me over to where my mother lived. My mother lived in this independent living facility for old people. And you can't bring no stuff over there because they will put the person out. Or they potentially could put the person out. So I was over there and she caught me coming outside. And she straight up raised up on me, pulled me by my shirt, cussing me out in front of everybody in the front. Now we have a problem. Now it's a cold red level.
Okay.
Now, I didn't beat her ass like I wanted to in my mind. I did in my mind. I did in my spirit. But my mind done beat her ass and I went to jail and I got bailed out in my mind. But in my physical, I'm like, okay, in my physical, my mama live here and I don't want her put out. Damn it. So let me straighten up and act right. Hey, can we talk about the car? It came out there. I know you fucking my shirt up and my shit is fucked up. Can we talk about the car?
Wait, she was pulling you, David?
Yeah, she ripped my shirt off. Ripped all this off. Just, you motherfucker, cussed me out, all that. Because, and you know why she cussed me out? She cussed me out because I left her alone. Wow. I didn't want to deal with her. Because I'm not a person that I'm going to snap and embarrass you. I ain't never did that. But the one thing about that Leo, because she was a Leo, that she hated was she don't like being ignored. So because I ignored her and it was loud, she said, oh no, this nigga, I'm taking mask off. I'm going to where his mom at. If I go where his mom at, the nigga gonna hurt me now. And I did. Oh, I heard her loud. Can we go to the car? Let's go to the car.
See y'all, this what I do. This is what I do. No, I'm just saying, you know.
So, you know, and my thing is, it should never have been even taken to that level.
Yeah.
For real. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, what comes around goes around. What you reap, you sow. She got that back. She got that back tenfold. I didn't say, look at you. You're stupid. I ain't do all that. I just let God do what he gonna do. God needs you to handle his lightweight. I ain't got time. So my thing is, but that's a man. A boy gonna react and he gonna be in his feelings. He gonna snap. He gonna slash tires. He gonna put grenades up on our house. Blow. He gonna do something stupid.
Right.
I'm not gonna do. God got too much for me to do something that's stupid. I ain't got time.
Well, I tell you, I'm loving the having the group conversations with the men and the women because it is so necessary.
It is.
It is needed for our families to prosper
It
and
is.
grow. And if we do not do that, if someone does not, sound the alarm, it's just not going to happen.
This is true. So, see, we're gonna bring this to a close. But before we do that, what can our audience find you, beautiful lady?
They can find me. Right here. As a matter of fact, I'm here. But on Instagram, it's Realtor Carla Smith. On Facebook, it's Carla Smith. But you can also go to the conversationswithcc.com and you can find me that way as well.
Okay, conversationswithcc.com and Carla Smith. Is that with a C or a K?
With always a C.
Okay, Carla Smith. Okay, Carla Smith on Instagram, right?
Instagram is Realtor Carla Smith.
Okay.
On Facebook is just Carla Smith, the one and only.
Well, from now on, after this, we're gonna figure out how to put their stuff up there that's already going when we got them on there. We're gonna figure it out.
Yes.
So when we do that, they can see it and they can find you just like that. But I will say this, I kind of had my reservations about this conference. I was like, you know what? I don't have my alcohol. I don't have a blunt, so I don't know how this is gonna work. But it ended up being amazing.
Oh my gosh.
This was amazing.
We're gonna hit number 1 on the charts.
Next time, because I feel like we need to do another show. We do.
We do.
Glass of wine.
We do.
Oh, I do. I think we need to unwind.
Yes, we're gonna have some wine on deck next time.
Hey, I just gave us a hand. We're gonna unwind with Domise, DC, and CC.
I love that segue. I love that segue. That's pretty good.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored and I'm just humbly gracious. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Who said a blunt? Who gonna have a blunt?
She said not a blunt because I said I needed a blunt. I was looking for a blunt before the show, but there was none available.
Y'all see what Ma's Wings and Queen said?
What?
Yeah, she did. She said number 1 episode.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Come at us, Domise, DC, and CC in the house.
Bless her heart.
Bye, y'all. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you more. Bye-bye.
Find us on our social media page.
Tune in for our next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you won't miss out on any future episodes.